How's it going, guys? Now you may be wondering, Cabbage, this is not PokeMMO, so what's going on? Well, today I'm excited to announce that I'm now going to be making Cobblemon content alongside my PokeMMO content. If you don't know what this game is, I will have a link in the description below, but it can basically be watered down to Minecraft with Pokemon mechanics added. Two of the best games from our childhood combined into one super fusion has created an amazing experience for me so far, so please check it out if you are interested. Again, my name is Young Cabbage. Subscribe for more Cobblemon videos, and let's take a look at my #1 tip for players starting the game. Now, after you land in game, the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your starter. As you can see, they have a lot of options. I'm just going to go with Bulbasaur because it is the best starter. The first thing every new player needs to do is going to be to get a base established as soon as possible. In Cobblemon, that does not just mean building a dirt house and a bed, but it means planting apricorn trees, berry farming, and mining ore to craft as many Pokeballs as you can. Keep in mind that while yes, this is a mod for Minecraft where it adds a bunch of different Pokemon roaming around, you will encounter your typical Minecraft mobs such as zombies, creepers, ghast, all of those things, so make sure to be careful and get yourself established before going too far. First, let's start with Apricorn Trees. Now, these trees are going to be almost like fall or autumn looking trees that have these weird little cocoa bean looking things, or apricorns if you play through the mainline games. And by walking up and right clicking them, you can see that they drop one of two items. The first is going to just be the apricorn of the corresponding color, and sometimes you get lucky and you end up getting the sprout as well, so that way you can plant the trees yourself. There are 7 different apricorn colors, but I would heavily recommend finding at least one of each color to start your farm. This is going to be because of the sheer amount of Pokeballs you're able to craft in this game that will all have varying effects and will be useful at different times that I will go into depth on in another video. Planting your apricorn farm is just as simple as planting a tree. You literally just leave the sprout there, and then within a few in-game days, you'll be able to have your own apricorn tree that you can turn into an infinite apricorn source. Up next is going to be Pokemon berries. I also recommend making a farm for these. You can find these anywhere in the overworld really too as well. You simply walk up and you right click them and you can pick the berries off the tree. You can see these ones are still budding, but we were able to go and get 7 cherry berries. Berry plants like this can be found just about in every single biome, and they come in different colors, such as the blue ones over here. Then you can see there are some pink ones over here. There's a few different colors. I think there's a yellow one too, but they will all correspond to what berry they give you. Now, the 2 berries that I recommend you watch out for, especially whenever starting your first playthrough, are going to be the Oran berries and the Lepa berries. So looking for berries should not be too difficult. However, there are a lot of berries in Pokemon, and so there are a lot of berries in Cobblemon. Tip number 2 is going to be to discover how the Pokemon mechanics work in this game, how moves work, how to replace moves, as well as the different stats being IVs, EVs, base, and other like friendship for evolutions. Just getting a basic understanding of all of the different buttons will help you tremendously whenever starting a playthrough. This game does play very similarly to Legends Arceus, so if you guys have played that, you will have a bit of a leg up in the sense that it is an open world and that you can teach all of your Pokemon any of their moves simply by swapping them in the party menu. Simply exploring these features will help you answer a lot of early on questions, as well as just get you comfortable with the gameplay loop. I also recommend new players to the game to just go around fighting a bunch of new Pokemon, as one of the coolest mechanics in Cobblemon is actually that different Pokemon have different drops. Now, a lot of these drops can be very useful. For example, we just KO'd this Wooloo, and as you can see, it's going to drop me raw mutton as well as some white wool. So if you need to build a bed or get food early on, just go ahead and farm a bunch of random Pokemon and see what they drop, as every single item will usually be useful to you early on. That's actually one of my favorite features in Cobblemon, is the fact that it does change a lot of different farming methods. For example, normally you would go around looking for a bunch of sheeps to kill or a bunch of cows for early game meat as well as to build a bed. However, in Cobblemon, you can just go around and farm wool and meat while also leveling up your partner Pokemon. Leveling up your Pokemon in Cobblemon will not only lead to new evolutions, but as you can see, you can actually use your Pokemon to fight off different mobs. This is super helpful when exploring caves, as your Pokemon will be able to protect you. My Bulbasaur was super weak, so it wasn't able to do the job necessarily, but you get the picture. And the third and final tip is actually going to be to craft as many of the new items and equipment as you can find in this mod, so that way you can experiment with them to get a better grasp of the game. The ones that I heavily recommend crafting are going to be the PC, so that way you can store your Pokemon, or so that way you can obtain Pokemon in case your party is full. However, one thing to note that is different from the mainline games is normally if you leave a Pokemon in the PC, then go to grab it later, it will have healed. However, it leaves your Pokemon's status as they were caught or with what has happened. So for example, if your Bulbasaur was fainted before you put it in there, it's not going to heal off of this. This makes healing early game pretty brutal, which means you're either going to need to sleep or craft a healing machine or farm those Oran berries I talked about earlier. With the healing machine, it's quite literally just the Pokemon Center. Walking up and right clicking it will heal your Pokemon, and as you can see, Bulbasaur is now fighting fit once more. Now, some of these new recipes can be a bit tedious, however, it is important to keep in mind that many Pokemon drop helpful items that would be difficult to obtain otherwise, so defeating them in battle can be a great way to farm what you need. If you want an in-depth guide on Pokemon drops, you can check out the Cobblemon wiki that I have linked in the description below. All in all, this game is truly one of a kind. The sense of adventure you get when finding a rare cave Pokemon, or when exploring the Nether with one of your childhood monsters, is a feeling that one cannot describe, so I'll just let you try it for yourself. If you have not downloaded this game yet, please do, and at least give it a try, and at the very least, please let me know your experience with the game. If you have any questions or you want to see any specific videos about this mod, please drop them in the comments below so you don't miss any more fun Cobblemon content. See you guys next time.